I just wanted to make this quick video because I know a lot of people is worried about this PPP loan, okay? And for people that had taken out the PPP loan illegally, wondering if it's a warrant list. There's no warrant list, okay? There's no such thing as a warrant list, okay? What it is this. This is a database, all right? Now, here's the thing about it. You do need to understand about this here database. What you do, they can put your name in and they can see if you're on that list that took out a loan. Now, here's the thing about it that a lot of people are not aware. Many of the people that took out the loans, if they didn't have an existing business, okay, then when they took out the loan, those are the people that may be charged, okay, allegedly. Even if they had their PP loan forgiven, you still can be charged because of bank wire fraud, okay? Now, I'm not an attorney, not a CPA. You definitely should reach out to an attorney or somebody if you've already had done this, right? Now, for some of you people that have created fictitious businesses, made up fraudulent bank statements, taxes and stuff, that's fraud in itself, okay? That's fraud in itself. And so if you had participated in getting a PPP loan, all right, making up a business, those are the things. People that are actually, that had existing businesses, say that you had an existing business and you overstated your income or how much the business was making, all right, then that's fraud, okay? Those are the things that they're actually looking at, all right? And so some of these people, again, they were just working regular jobs, right? And they go and they would try to go find a age corporation, people that used age corporation, right? And then tried to file the taxes on it and stuff like that just to get the PPP loan. You guys committed fraud, all right? That's the reason I continue to tell people you have to be very careful when people are selling you age corporations and stuff like that, because they may not be as transparent with the situation, all right? But you people that got this money, this 10,000, 20,000 and stuff like that, this is the database. It's a government database, pandemic oversight. This is the database. You go in and put your information in. Now, here's another thing. Once you put your information in here, it's also a tracker. It's also a tracker too, all right? Now, what's going to raise other red flags for this PPP loan fraud is that say that you got two PPP loans, right? So if you got multiple PPP loans, that's going to create a problem for you as well, all right? So there's several things that they can hold you accountable for, all right, in reference to not only just double dipping, but just making up a company, saying that, oh, I ran this business or whatever, and you didn't have any capital in it, setting up a new business, then having somebody file taxes and stuff like that, creating fraudulent pay stubs, fraudulent bank statements. Those are the type of things that are just basically fraud, okay? So you yourself as the individual, you already know that you committed fraud, right? Nobody has to tell you that. The government doesn't have to tell you that. You knew that you was committing fraud. And whoever that was associated with you that filed the paperwork on your behalf, they committed fraud as well, all right? Even if your PPP loan was discharged, you still can be held liable, all right? And I think the statutes, they saying it used to be 10, I think it's up to 25 years. They have up to 25 years to go after you for it, all right? Now, this does not have nothing to do with the EIDL loan. That's a different situation, all right? But in reference to the PPP loan, you guys is definitely a situation that you're going to have to deal with. But there's not a warrant list. All right. So just know that there's not a warrant list. But what they are going to do, they're going to start looking at people's tax returns, going back, people that are in this database for their business. If your tax returns that you filed for the PPP loan, if those numbers are not matching, okay, when you apply for the PPP loan, that's going to create a problem for you. Okay. Now, again, by me not being an attorney, I tell you, go get you an attorney. And I would talk to an attorney about it. All right. Because this is definitely a very serious situation. All right. A lot of people that we tried to warn before even getting a PPP loan that knew that they didn't have revenue in the business. They didn't have the business open that loan. What they did, they may have had a business. They set up their LLCs or DBAs or something. They set up the business and they never did anything, no revenue or nothing. And so what they did was go back, if you had that company dissolved or it went dormant, they tried to go back and bring that company up to date and then file for PPP. Okay, I talked with people with the Secretary of State of California when it was going on, and they was telling me what people were doing. All right, and I was telling people, if your business isn't making any revenue, then there's no need for you to be trying to file for PPP. My business makes a lot of revenue, and we didn't even file for PPP. We didn't need it, so we didn't need that money from the government. So why would we file it? And we actually are a legitimate business that makes revenue. All right. But for you guys that actually just went along because everybody else was doing it, you have to pay the consequences of whatever that is. Hopefully, it may just be that you have to pay the money back and be penalized with a fine and not do any legal jail time or whatever. Right now, here's what it probably will do, because it is a felony. Then that felony can go on your record. That felony could go on your record. So depends on the outcome of what's going on. Depends on the outcome of especially with this election year. You don't know what they're going to come down to in terms of what's going on. And remember, when Biden had that money for paid all that money to hire these new IRS agents and stuff like that, and a lot of these people that are becoming these IRS agents and stuff, a lot of these people that don't understand taxes, right? So you're going to get the newest of the new that's going to be dealing with you, but they're going to be looking at what it is that you filed. Did you get PPP loan? What it is that you filed? What documentation? So if you don't have your tax records from when you got your PPP, you're going to have to go get your tax records and stuff. All right. Whoever did your taxes and stuff, you need to sit down with them or whatever. All right. Because they're going to carry some liability in this too. Even though you signed off on it, by them being tax agents, they were aware of the tax laws and stuff. So if they aided you in helping fill out the paperwork, then they themselves will be held liable as well. All right. So you definitely would need to have an attorney. But the answer to your question, there's no warrant list. All right. It is a database. You can put your name in and see if you had any loans and stuff like that. And this is the original website, but there's no warrant list. All right. Will they going to be looking at more people? Absolutely. Absolutely. Again, just having the manpower and stuff. And I know a lot of people tripping off of what that one lady was arrested and stuff, but they actually tried to contact that lady before they actually sent the sheriffs out to her house or whatever. All right. And trying to get an explanation or whatever. But at the same time, unfortunately, things happen. But hopefully in the future, we'll have better judgment and make sure that, hey, this isn't me. This isn't for me. You know, sometimes, when they say all money ain't good money, this is one of those times where people assume that, hey, everybody else is doing it, I can do it too. And that was not the case. All right. If you didn't have a real business, you didn't have taxes filed, you didn't have any documentation to back you up for your situation, then you would have to deal with the consequences. All right. Whether they good or bad. But again, just keep in mind, because they had dismissed you owing a PPP loan, that does not mean that they cannot come after you legally, because once they open back up those records and they see they dismissed you, but they find out that, hey, this person did not have a legitimate business, the revenue that they stated they made, they did not make in the business and stuff like that, that's wire fraud, okay? And so that's where they can get you, all right? So I don't want to be a damper on people's lives or whatever, but it's just a reality. All right. So hopefully, it won't be as bad, but at the same time, for those of you that's just wondered if you're on that list or whatever, all you have to do is just come over here, put in your information, and there you go. All right. So I hope this helps, and I'll see you in the next video.